All right, for today, Thursday, April 30th, in math, we are going to complete Chapter 12, Lesson 9. Chapter 12, Lesson 9. So, we are talking about halves. Half of something. So, how can a shape be separated into two equal shares? So remember we learned yesterday about equal. Equal means the same. So if we're going to split something into two equal shares, two equal parts, they have to be the same size. So just like that cake we want to share, we don't want to have a tiny little piece and then give someone else a big piece, or keep the big piece for ourselves and give someone else a tiny piece. So we want those to be equal. So we are going to draw and solve. So on this first page, we are going to work out this problem. Two friends share a sandwich. So they're going to share the sandwich on the left. How can they cut the sandwich so each gets an equal share? Okay, so how could we split this first sandwich so that they each get an equal share? So think about a sandwich. Do your parents ever cut your sandwich in half? So maybe they cut it from corner to corner, and they give you two triangle pieces of sandwich. Those two pieces would be the same size, but they're triangular shaped. Or your parents can cut it right down the middle and give you two rectangle pieces of sandwich. They would both be the same size if they cut it down the middle, but it would be rectangular pieces. They would also still be rectangular pieces if they cut it across. So we can either draw a line down, across, or diagonally to show two equal parts. So I don't know about you, but I always cut my sandwiches into triangles. So we're going to split the sandwich in half this way. If you want to cut it in half down the middle, you can. But I'm cutting it into two triangle pieces, but that would be sharing it evenly. Okay, two other friends are going to share the sandwich on the right. How could we cut it a different way so that they still get an equal share? So this time, I'll go ahead and cut it down the middle this way to give two pieces that way. So here they both get a triangle piece that is about the same. Here down the middle, they both get a rectangular piece of sandwich that is about the same. So, looking at the model and draw, it says the two equal shares make one whole. So if you have one whole circle here, when you cut it into two halves, those are your two equal shares. This is one share, this is your second share. Two halves. Because this side is half of the circle, and this side is half of the circle. One half. So together you have two half pieces of circle. Or when you put them back together, you have one whole circle. So looking at the share and show, it says draw a line to show halves. So on all of these pictures, you are just drawing to show half. So just like the sandwich, we could split it this way, we could split it this way. So we'll do like we did on the front page. Since this is a square and this is the same size square, we will show two different ways. So this time I'm gonna go across this way. That was a really crooked line. I'm bending down. So that was not a good line. That would be about half. And then I'm going to draw this way. Again, I'm not great at these lines. Okay. Make a thicker line. Not as obvious that you messed it up. So this time we split it across into two halves. This is half, this is half. This is half, this is half. Right? Looking at the rectangles, I could cut it down, I could cut it across, I could cut it diagonal this way, I could cut it diagonal this way. So 3 and 4 are pretty much the same shape. So again, I could pretty much choose any of those ways I want to. I'm going to split it down that way, and then I'll split this one this way. Both of those would be cutting it in half. So we are showing halves. So you are going to complete the rest of this page on your own. On the third page for 5 through 13, you are circling the shapes that show halves. So if number 5 is showing halves of that shape, circle it. If it's not, leave it alone. If number 6 is showing halves, you can circle it. If not, you can put an X on it, or you can circle it. Or, sorry, put an X on it or leave it alone. So number 5 I would circle because it is showing halves. 6 is not. So you're going to do the same for 7 through 13. Circle it if it is showing halves. X it out or leave it alone if it is not. Number 14 says use this picture and write numbers to solve. So the picture shows how many halves. So like I said before, this is 1/2 and this is 1/2. So if you have one piece here and one piece here, that is a total of 2 halves, right? So the picture shows 2 halves. The blank equal shares make blank. So this is showing 1, 2. So 2 halves. The 2 equal shares make 1 whole. Okay. And then on the back, number 15, it says draw or write to solve. So color half of each shape. So each of these are split in half, and you're going to color 1/2 of this, 1/2 of this, 1/2 of this. Number 16, Linus cut a circle into equal shares. He traced one of the parts. There it is. Write half of or halves to name that part. So you are either going to write half of a circle or halves of a circle. Which one makes sense to describe that part? Then draw 3 different ways to show halves on this rectangle. So each one of these needs to be split in a different way, but it has to be halves. And then number 18, circle the shapes that show halves. So again, you're circling it if it does show halves. Alright, so parents, I will put the answer key for that on Class Dojo. And if you have any other questions about halves today, or need any help with Chapter 12, just let me know.